and welcome to a new series of Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen, and joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Frank Skinner and Russell Howard, Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Gina Yashere. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Gina, which category would you like?
Entertainment news.
OK, entertainment news. The answer is 50 nights. What is the question?
Is it how long does it take me to successfully build an IKEA wardrobe?
Is it if an MP spent one night in a hotel, how many nights would he claim for?
Is it how much of a start was Stephen Hawking given at this year's London Marathon?
Oh, God.
And so it begins!
The show has been going 10 seconds.
How many nights per year does the Queen sneak away to do karaoke? under the alias of Big Mama.
Is it how many late shifts would you have to do at B&Q before you came to dismiss life as a grotesque pantomime?
Is it dogs often go to fetch help when their master is in trouble? How long would you have to be lying dead before your cat gave a shit?
How long has Jackie Smith's husband been sleeping in the conservatory?
Is it how long would it take Nick Park to film a Wallace and Gromit porno?
Is it...
I like that, only working at night. How long did it take Lady Gaga to perfect tucking her penis between her legs?
Is it which themed disco evenings have the most restrictive age policy? 50 nights. No? Is it?
Is it how long before we get the right answer to this one?
Yeah. I think I've got the right answer.
No, don't do that. I haven't done a funny one yet. Stick around, right? Is it generally speaking what separates 51 days? You don't have to be rude.
Is it the number of nights that Michael Jackson was going to play the O2 Arena?
It is, of course. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Danny. The question I was looking for was, how many nights was Michael Jackson due to perform at London's O2 Arena before his recent death? This is the news of the King of Pop. The news of the King... You have heard this, I presume, somewhere. This is the news of the King of Pop. Michael Jackson is dead. The 50-year-old star died suddenly following a cardiac arrest and was just weeks away from his This Is It tour in London. His death has left millions of fans in mourning. One devastated fan said, "I was at Disneyland when I heard he died. I didn't want to believe it. It was only when Mickey Mouse confirmed it to me that I accepted it."
You know how in the future everyone will say, "Oh, do you remember where you were when Michael Jackson died?" Almost everybody will be able to answer, "I was texting a joke about Michael Jackson." Even the doctor that was announcing that he died had a look across his face like, "I've got one." He touched millions of fans. People are going to love this.
There was a bloke on the radio, I was listening on 5 Live or something, he said, brilliant, he said, "I'm really glad that he didn't do those 50 nights at the O2 because I think they would have killed him."
People reacted to his death very differently, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, like Jermaine Jackson was on the news saying that he wished that he'd died instead. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And I reacted differently. I wished that he'd died as well.
There are, now that he's dead, 13 singles in the top 40. So the Spice Girls, they know what they've got to do, don't they?
When they found him, they said that he was face down on the floor next to the bed, and they didn't call an ambulance for 50 minutes because they just thought he was looking for the other glove.
It can't have been easy, though, for them to actually work out he was ill, can it? Because let's face it, he's been looking pale for 20 years.
Yeah, but come on.
I genuinely think the symptoms of a massive cardiac arrest are more than you're looking a bit pale there.
We seem to forget. We're forgetting, though, that the guy was a genius. Like, he wrote some of the best records of our generation. Thriller is still the best-selling album
I think you'll
of all
find
time.
Glenn Miller wrote some of the best records of my generation.
Okay, of my generation. But, no, the guy was a
back.
genius. I mean, what black man can produce 3 white kids? It's amazing. Frankie's got a better chance of being their dad than Michael.
You're right, though, Jim.
If that is the case, they're in real trouble.
Yeah.
A choice between Michael and Frankie.
Sorry, kids, a bit of a change of location for you. You're going to live with Uncle Frankie now.
What, after staying with Michael Jackson? It's all got to be up from there, hasn't it? Do you know the weirdest thing about Michael Jackson? I didn't even know this. He was a Jehovah's Witness. That's like the least weird thing about him. I bet when he went to the Jehovah's Witness meetings, they pretended not to be in. Michael, turn the telly down.
Although he did look like someone who wouldn't have a blood transfusion, didn't he?
Well, I think people generally, because they loved his music so much, they were willing to forgive him what he got up to in his private life. So there's a lesson in there, isn't there? For Gary Glitter, write better songs.
But the memorial had a huge number of stars. You know, Stevie Wonder, Mariah Carey, Lionel Richie. Oh, yeah, and the kid from Britain's Got Talent. I love it.
Hey, they gave Stevie Wonder a seat in the front row.
Wait, you've got to wait 10 minutes for him to walk all the way from the back of the theatre. Next up, Stevie Wonder. Come on, Stevie, we haven't all day here, right? Stevie's like, I'll be with you in a minute. Weaving his way, like in the middle of the row. Sorry, excuse me, sorry, I'm on like...
You know that they said they'd had thousands of volunteers to be pallbearers at Michael Jackson's funeral? I bet they did. Where were they when Barry White died?
One of the best stories about this, I don't know if you read this, was that Bubbles has been banned from the funeral because he's too violent. That's a fantastic story, isn't it? But surely Michael Jackson's dad's going, who beat him up for 20 years, and yet a monkey who likes to throw his poo around a bit much. But they didn't even tell him because they didn't want to upset him. He's a monkey! If he sat there going, no.
You see, I thought...
Banana! Num. When did we start telling pets? Somebody must have made the decision, like, Michael's dead, somebody better tell the tigers. Do you reckon they'll do that with David Blunkett? If he pegs it, someone better tell his dog. He's gone, David. No!
I think the dog will sense the dead weight on the lead. Yeah. I think he should have left Bubbles to Diana Ross. Because it's great. He left the 3 kids to Diana Ross and she didn't know. That's a... They're going to turn up and she's going to go, what is it, trick or treat? No, we always wear these. Right?
He's left his kids to Diana Ross.
She doesn't know. It's like, we should all do it. Let's all put that in our... Like, it's be like Rick rolling.
It would be great, though, if we did leave everything to Diana Ross, if everyone in the world got together, just leaving anything, you know, like a bugle or a flute, just so that she'd be sat there going, this is ridiculous. I feel like I'm in the middle of a chain reaction.
Do you think? Do you think for parenting, if they're misbehaving, you just go, stop, in the name of love?
When I was actually, seriously, when I was like, I suppose when I was about 8 or 9, I was a massive Michael Jackson fan, and I wish I'd known at the time that I was his type. You know the conspiracy theory at the minute? There's a conspiracy theory already that Michael Jackson faked his own death. If he faked his death, where could he go in the world that he would blend in? Does Cornwall even have a police force?
Isn't it odd that Michael Jackson's dancing deteriorated as he got whiter and whiter?
At the end of that round, ladies and gentlemen, the points go to Russell, Frank and Andy. Now we play a round called Don't Stop Till You Get a Laugh. This game involves Frank, Andy, Frankie and Russell, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is where we test our performers' stand-up skills. We spin our news generator, it settles on a topic, and anyone can volunteer jokes about the chosen subject. The winners are the people I judge who produce the funniest stuff, OK? Here we go. Let's spin the wheel. First topic is parenting. Who wants to come in on that? Andy Parsons.
Getting quick. You may have seen that there was a woman gave birth recently who was 72 years old. That's not right, is it? You don't want to be a kid struggling to walk to find out your mum's in exactly the same state. But in this country, it's been more, isn't it? The young people who've been giving birth. Alfie Patton, supposedly a dad at 13 years old. And then they were saying, oh, no, he's not the dad, some people. I don't know what's going to happen to Alfie now. Maybe he's going to have to join Fathers for Justice. Hey, he's probably got a superhero costume, hasn't he?
Thank you very much, Andy. OK, let's spin the wheel again. Subject is history. Who wants to come in on that? Frank.
Let's do it. Yes, history. I think it's important not to trust history. Don't take things for granted. I watched that film, The Elephant Man, recently, and it suddenly struck me after all these years that the Elephant Man doesn't actually look like an elephant. He doesn't. The Elephant Man doesn't look like an elephant. If anything, he looks like fresh ginger. Now, obviously, if you're putting up posters trying to sell a freak show, you can't say, coming soon, the Ginger Man. Or people are going to think, OK, they're not the best-looking people in the world, but I'm not paying to see one. Now, you can edit history now, right? They've brought it... Scientists have found out which part of the brain contains your bad memories, and they have developed a drug, you must have read about this, that can actually erase bad memories. It's what Ronnie Wood's 20-year-old girlfriend calls the morning after pill.
Thank you very much, Frank. That leaves us with Frankie and Russell. Let's spin the wheel. Next topic is Britain's Got Talent. Frankie.
Yeah, I actually watched this series of Britain's Got Talent, or as I think it should be renamed, How Bored Are Britain's Women and Homosexuals? Susan Boyle, to me, looks like Gordon Brown playing Mrs. Doubtfire. She was on Oprah Winfrey in America, and they subtitled her. And people in West Lothian, where she's from, were absolutely horrified, as many of them can't read. She says that she's never been kissed. And on that evidence alone, Scotland's alcohol problems are not as bad as first thought.
OK, let's see what Russell's been left with. Let's spin the wheel. OK, the topic is human behaviour.
Some things you can't help doing. Do you find this? Like, if you get a cold can of Diet Coke, it's not enough for you to go, that is freezing. You have to find somebody you love and put it on their face. You can't... You don't do that with any other food. This soup's boiling in your eyes! But for some reason, you become a fizzy torch. All right, Mum, Fanta to the knee! We're all fairly peculiar. Sometimes you think weird thoughts. I was in Tesco the other day. I was offered a bag for life, and I found myself going, I can't commit to that. You know? I don't know what bags are going to be like in the future. I feel like a tool if I got a plastic one in 2024. People go, I've got a new bag, it packs itself and speaks Spanish. Piece of shit. What can you do? I can suffocate a child. That's all you're good for. He can speak Spanish, I can hurt your hands on long journeys.
Well done, Russell. Points there go to Andy and Russell. Our next round is called Headliners. Here's a picture of Centre Court at Wimbledon. But what does RBWF stand for?
Is it really boring watch football?
Regular bunch of white folk.
Is it?
Russin' bussin' winner Federer.
Russian Boston women's feather. What's that then? What is that? Is that like
I think that's from Scooby-Doo.
As Captain Caveman commentating on...
Is it replace balls with fruit?
All right, let's move towards the correct answer if we can,
really
please.
both Williams's fellas?
Is it simply rich bastards watch final?
There's a touch of that, all right, yeah.
Excellent.
More tennis for the people.
For those, is it record-breaking Wimbledon final?
It is record-breaking Wimbledon final. Thank you very much. You'll watch this. We're excited.
Do you know the most amazing thing about the final? Tim Henman commentating on the final. What does he know about it?
To be honest, none of us were interested. As soon as Murray got knocked out, we weren't bothered. And it was hilarious how fickle we were. We were like, come on, Andy, do it for Britain. Game, set, match, Roddick. You Scottish bastard! Straight away.
Andy Murray, I think, is, like we've got to admit, is a brilliant British number one.
Yes.
We're not taking anything away from him. But let's not forget, the British number 2 is actually Adrian Chiles. And the number 3 is just the concept of disappointment. For many years, there wasn't a British number 1. It just started at 2. Did you see the other British guys that got knocked out in the first round? Some of those guys turned up with snooker cues.
I mean, you're right, Frankie, because I, in fact, had 2 weeks at the David Lloyd Tennis Centre, and I'm now Britain's number 6.
It's not just Britain that's bad, though. What happened to the lesbians? They used to dominate Wimbledon. Where are they now? Yeah. Well, they really miss that smell of pipe smoke in the ladies' locker room.
What I like about Andy Murray, right, is he's like beyond Scottish. He's like almost translucent. He's like a living porridge. Sometimes the sun would strike him in a certain way and he'd cast a rainbow against the scoreboards. No wonder people couldn't beat him. They couldn't see him. It must have been like playing Predator or something.
If you watch Wimbledon, I loved it. It was really great because the cameramen this year were proper perverts.
Yeah.
Every time a point was played, they're like, right, let's have a look. She will do. Did you see? There was one clip where this girl with massive tatty bojangles was literally
jumping up and down.
Yeah,
I saw that
in slow motion, going. And McEnroe actually said, "God damn!" Yeah. And it was literally the highlight.
I'm not to be honest, Mike, I watched that in high def, and in 1080, that was phenomenal.
They always cut to the beautiful wife or girlfriend in the box. They always do that. Now, looking back, I'd really tried at tennis and got to this level, and then I'd have gone out with the fattest pig I could have found and sat her up there until they said, oh, Skinner playing really well, and there's his, oh, my God. Looks like he's given her a few backhanders.
We've been out to see at Batty Bojangles, or what are they called?
What's Tatty Bojangles? But the thing is, the best thing about...
You don't use that during love play, I hope.
I'm talking about my girlfriend.
It sounds like an imaginary friend a child would have who behaves inappropriately. Oh dear, Mr. Tatty Bojangles is here again. I'll never be able to get to sleep tonight.
Who spilled the milk on the floor? Tatty Bojangles.
Anyways, the other great thing about the cameramen is some of the replays were outstanding because for some reason Wimbledon seemed to employ the oldest ladies they could to be line judges. So these poor women haven't got a chance of getting the way out of these 137 miles per hour serves. There was one old woman, you could literally see it just go whack and smack her in the face, and they replayed it. Just see this poor lady go... and all the... Their work, love. Well, I've got Spalding on my face, and no!
I love the screaming, you know, the screaming and the grunting. Actually, the neighbours asked me to keep it down.
In the final, they cut to a shot of Woody Allen and Soon Ji sitting in the crowd. And I was trying to read his lips, and it looked like he was saying, no, don't buy an ice cream. That just makes me look like a... Don't buy an ice cream. And will you stop calling me Dad?
Everybody was interested in when the roof closed, and I thought, that's not the exciting bit. The exciting bit is when the roof opens and the umpire's chair goes back and Thunderbird 1 takes off.
Well, that was the thing, wasn't it? They said the roof would stop moments like Cliff Richard singing because it was raining. You think, that's a lot of expense to go to stop Cliff Richard singing. You can get a gun in Brixton for 60 quid.
What I love about Wimbledon in general, it's the only sport that has its own fruit. You know, strawberries. Imagine doing that at Millwall. Lovely game. Guava?
What is the grunting about? I'd like to see them doing it in, like, the snooker or something.
Yeah. Why were royal finances in the news this week?
Because the Queen blew all her money on a horse called Thug Hunter.
The Queen is at the centre of an expenses scandal, isn't she? Because she's been claiming Balmoral as her main residence and claiming the council tax back on Buckingham Palace.
She's still got... apparently she lost 6 million last year, had to spend 6 million, but she's still got 240 million in the bank. She's not going to turn up for the Christian speech next year wearing a shell suit going, it's been a tough year. Philip got a job writing for the BNP. Although, in fairness, they've taken her eyes, which is a bit...
She does look like a cartoon character who's seen a sexy cartoon character. And
I think the Queen could print more money anyway. All she really needs is a profile shot and a photocopier. And,
They say the Queen spent £14,000 on a train journey from London to Liverpool. And that's what happens if you let an old-age pensioner use the self-service ticket machine.
But it's not, in fairness, it's not the Queen. It's the other, like Princess Beatrice. She's at university at Goldsmiths, and we're having to spend 300 grand on doing up her student digs. It's ridiculous. What kind of note is she going to leave on her fridge? Somebody had the quail's eggs.
She would normally have 300 grand getting her flat done up so she can go and study the history of ideas. I've got an idea for you, Beatrice. Get your fat arse down to B&Q.
But the fact is, they're always getting on about whether the royal family is actually value for money. But at the end of the day, we do get a lot of tourists coming in. If you just go to Buckingham Palace on any day and you see the number of tourists gawking at it, I mean, I don't think you can still get the same numbers if they turfed out the royal family and turned it into a giant Lidl.
Do we need a royal family to attract American tourists? Have you seen those people? You could attract them with a balloon on a stick.
I don't know about turning it into a big Lidl, but I think people would come from far and wide if the Queen was forced to work at Lidl.
Oh, you can imagine going up to the Queen and go, yeah, what, 4 packets of already broken biscuits, yeah? Do people still actually buy already broken biscuits?
Dara's hardly going to know the answer, is he?
Let's be honest, the new slim Dara doesn't know anything about biscuits. Look at him.
I didn't even recognise the word biscuit.
He looks like a Russian bodyguard.
No actual...
Oh, you look good. I think we should have started the show with you just in front of the camera, just doing a gun show like that. You like that, nation? They call me Vladimir. He looks like a Russian bodyguard, doesn't he?
I don't know if you realise the story behind this, but Dara's lost weight because he's been on the Irish version of I'm a Celebrity, which is set during the potato famine.
How much weight have you lost, actually?
Who, me? Since I've been on here, about 2 stone.
Come on, tell us.
I'm not Colleen Nolan. This isn't Loose Women. I'm not discussing weight loss on the show. At the end of that round, the points go to Frankie, Hugh and Gina. Now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you can all make your way over to the performance area, please. I caught ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. Right, here we go. The first subject is things you wouldn't hear from a weather forecaster.
The Met Office have issued a weather warning. They've told the weather not to do that again, or there'll be trouble.
Temperatures could rise to 31 degrees. Shit, I've left my baby in the car!
A hurricane tonight will be caused by low pressure and God's hatred of homosexuality.
A huge depression over Scotland, and now the weather.
And finally, a warning to hay fever sufferers. Don't come sneezing near me or I'll rip your face off.
So, here's the summary. Monday shite, Tuesday shite, Wednesday shite, Thursday bollocks.
The humidity's rising. The barometer's going low. Tonight, for the first time, just about 10:30, it's going to start raining men.
The outlook's bright for the weekend. I've got 3 grams of coke in my pocket and my wife's on holiday.
Well, let's go to Carol on the roof of Television Centre. She's not meant to be there. She's just a bit depressed.
This part of the country is going to stay hot and wet for quite some time because that's where my girlfriend lives. Oh, yeah.
So, it's going to be between 17 and 21, but Berlusconi won't date older than that.
It was raining cats and dogs last night.
I should know. I was throwing them off my roof.
What are you watching me for? Look out the fucking window.
It's going to be cloudier tonight. I love those German birds.
What do you care what the weather's going to be like? You look shit in all your clothes.
The next topic is deleted lines from Star Trek.
Kirk to Enterprise. OK, how about if I stand over here?
Scotty, that's the most convincing your accent has ever been.
Captain, I can see an alien ship approaching. It's not showing up on the radar. It's a circular vessel, some sort of lettering and number... Oh, no, sorry, it's my tax disc.
I have no emotion. My mother was a Vulcan. My father was Gordon Brown.
All right, which one of you ate my Scotch egg?
This is the Federation of Gay Planets. Open your docking bay and prepare to be boarded.
Tell you what, Spock, your towel is a lot softer than mine.
Captain's log. Just seen some aliens. OMG. WTF. LOL. Smiley face.
Who are these terrifying aliens? You can't call them that anymore, Captain. It's Uhuru and Sulu.
Welcome to the SS Enterprise, Mr. Eccleston.
Now, which one of you put your red top in the washing with all the yellow ones?
There's going to be some changes around here. They call me Captain Tatty Bojangles.
What's wrong, Captain Picard? What's wrong? I'm a serious Shakespearean actor, and I'm talking to the ambassador of the fucking worm people!
At the end of that round, the points go to Russell, Frank and Andy. That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Frank Skinner and Russell Howard. Commiserations to Frankie Boyd, Hugh Dennis and Jeannie Asheray. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
More comedy to come here on BBC Two, and some serious news about toast with that Mitchell and Webb look next tonight, and then paying homage to Hitchcock's Psychoville's take on the classic film Rope at 10.
Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Rod Gilbert and Russell Howard, Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Tom Stade. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of Gordon Brown, but what does BLSC stand for?
Is it Brown lifts see-through cucumber?
Bungle loses showbiz costume.
Is it Bonnie Langford's sex change?
To be honest, what a world it would be if that's the answer.
More likely to vote for him if he was Bonnie Langford.
Really?
What an extra poster as well. Gordon Brown, because I used to be Bonnie Langford. If you don't vote for me, I'll scream and scream and scream.
Has he just been asked to describe himself and he's gone, balls like swinging coconuts?
Has he just been asked to describe himself and he's gone, bad leader, shocking chancellor?
Yeah.
Having it. We're having it tonight.
Is it Brown levitates scared child?
The one that's just out of shot.
Has it got nothing to do with Gordon Brown? Is it Berlusconi's lover, 17?
We all know you spell with a K here.
Also, I love the idea that maybe you've just done that and there's a horse at home watching going...
Sugar cube? Sugar cube?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is he screaming, bring laxatives, situation's critical?
Listen, let me move you towards the correct answer.
Is it Brown's leadership style criticised?
Yes, it is. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Brown's leadership style criticised. This is the news that Gordon Brown has come under renewed criticism this week for his style of leadership. He was compared by one Labour MP to a mafia boss. In what way is he possibly like a mafia boss?
Well, we know for one way he's not, is he? Because let's face it, if he said to the public, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse, everybody would still go, no.
Is it a case of mistaken identity where somebody thought they woke up next to a horse's head, but what they'd actually done was just fallen asleep in a cabinet meeting next to Margaret Beckett? Caroline Flint basically got sacked by Brown and then said that the entire cabinet was really laddish. And you're like, what? Miliband and Alistair Darling? Watch out! We're going to Ayia Napa!
He said that Brown was scary and had an intimidating side. And you think, well, why doesn't he show that to anybody? Why doesn't he intimidate Al-Qaeda? Why doesn't he intimidate David Cameron? Why is it that the personality he chooses to present to the world is of an old woman's cushion that's been left out in the back garden for cats to piss on? Gordon Brown is so devoid of any life that if he was a cartoon character, this is the stage where they'd be drafting in a sidekick. Is anyone else sort of puzzled that Gordon Brown's nephew's in the cabinet and that he's a raccoon?
To be honest, though, Frankie might have hit upon something genius there because...
Really?
Listen. No, because the Labour Party basically need a new frontman. And the raccoon idea is good, but they should go for that little fella out of the Compare the Meerkat advert because he is possibly the most popular thing in the country.
Yeah, he is.
Imagine that. Simple. Clicks his head, economy fixed.
Meerkat! Why is he Russian? Why is the meerkat Russian? I've never understood that.
Was he dressed up in a stately home? These are questions...
Never been made clear to me. You're making the mistake of imagining that we need something popular to defeat Gordon Brown. You know, you don't need a meerkat. Herpes would beat Gordon Brown.
But let's be honest.
You mean more as a psychic? I don't think herpes would make a good psychic, though. I'm Gordon Brown, and here's my psychic. You can see it manifest itself in the corner of my mouth.
They've said, haven't they? They said he needs to tone down his dark side.
Yes.
They appear to have confused him with Darth Vader. But maybe they're right. Maybe it's going to turn out, in fact, David Cameron is, in fact, Gordon Brown's son.
Well, we broke it first. I'd love if that happened. Because Cameron, big fan of the show, by the way. I met Cameron during the week in BBC Radio 2, just in the corridor, and he went, hello, and I went, hello, and he went, oh, yeah, mock the week, very good. That boiled chap.
What did he mean by that?
I don't know. We just kind of went, because we both like, I have nothing more to add.
You sure it wasn't just in his hit list to MI5, that boiled chap? Make it look like an accident. This was a criticism made by female Labour MPs, wasn't it? Because they're not been put in the new cabinet. Who wants to be put in Gordon Brown's cabinet? That's like being handed a set of pilot goggles by Emperor Hirohito. Hazel Blair's complaining that women MPs like them are being used as window dressing. Have you seen them? When would they be window dressing? London Dungeon?
But here's also the thing, man. One of the women was sitting there complaining that she couldn't get close to Gordon Brown. And I'm like, who the hell would want to get close to Gordon Brown? Who's going to sit there and look at that sexy guy over there with one eye? I'd sure like to see his moobs shake.
I was wondering maybe Gordon Brown could use his disability to his own advantage. You know, maybe he could say, oh, well, yes, I did see the recession coming. I just couldn't tell how far away it was.
There is a Patricia Hewitt, in possibly the same interview, possibly two interviews during the week, said that the cabinet was both laddish and also very Presbyterian. And there's literally no way in which you can be both laddish and very Presbyterian. I like fast cars and loose women, but not on the Sabbath. It's like saying he's Amish, but he works in IT. Or he's worthwhile, but he's one of the Jonas Brothers. Where was Gordon Brown at the weekend?
Oh, he was in Italy for the G8.
He was indeed.
Not to be confused with the G20, which is the group of 19 industrial nations and the EU, or the G45, which is a group of hypoallergenic countries.
It was fantastic to see Gordon Brown looking incredibly uncomfortable as he met Berlusconi. Berlusconi's sort of like an old-style fixer. Hey, you want pussy, Brown? You want some blow? You want blow? No, I'm just here to talk about trade. You want a boy? I get you a boy, Brown. I get you a girl. I get you a boy, girl. 4 arms, 4 legs. It's like making love to a man spider. You want me to get rid of Cameron? I get rid of Cameron, Brown. I make it look like suicide, like he fell in love with the man spider. I turn in Spanish. That's how much I love you, Gordon, baby.
He's just moved to Morocco, is he? You're so right, though. He does. Berlusconi probably looks like one of those blokes you meet on a holiday, just went, your wife.
No questions would be asked.
Yeah, but
just one night. That's all I ask.
Just stuffing money into your hand. You, me, pedalo, her.
No, it wouldn't be good. Let me sleep with your wife. No, go away. And then you'd hear him walk away, and at the next table, let me sleep with your wife. No, go away. And that just doesn't went on further.
He's amazing. I mean, to be honest, Berlusconi really puts Brown into perspective. Because did you see when they had those horrific Italian earthquakes? Berlusconi said to the survivors, and I quote, "Hey, don't worry about it. Pretend you're on holiday."
And the shocking thing about that is finding out what a good impression I do of Silvio Berlusconi. Berlusconi is, like, terrifying. He looks like the sort of guy who, if you told him to go fuck himself, he'd give it a try.
To offer a brief amount of fact to back this up, because you know where the G8 summit was held?
Laka laka squawka. I could never pronounce that word.
That's okay. It is a night of bad Italian impersonation, so we'll let you in. But he went. It's called Alchina. It's where the earthquake was, and he took them there. It's very symbolic and all that. But nonetheless, even that place, he visited at the time of the earthquake, and went up to one of the doctors, put his arm around it when she was dealing with the situation, and said, "I wouldn't mind being resuscitated by you." Right? During the actual visit, they thought there was an aftershock during the visit, but it was just his headboard banging furiously up.
Can I just say in this photo, if you look at Nicolas Sarkozy there...
Yeah.
I'm just taking a break, man. I'm just taking a break to do this show. Brown just looks like his polygrips come undone.
It's like he swallowed his bottom lip.
It looks like the world's first conjoined quintuplets on their epic Everest climb. That's what it is.
Mind you, there was one interesting controversy during the G8, not a particularly serious one, but what happened during the photo call?
Or was this the thing where they were supposed to be checking out a woman's arse?
That is exactly it, yeah. I mean, this is how much the world's press were. Yeah, there's Obama checking the booty of a 16-year-old Brazilian delegate.
No, that's
She's a 16-year-old Brazilian, but she's also Berlusconi's Minister of Defence.
Just to be fair, by the way, to Obama, it is just... there's a million photographs taken that they get one that looks a little bit like he was. Unlike, say, this photograph, in which he's very definitely checking it out.
It's like somebody's turned Berlusconi off at the back there.
It's Obama, isn't it? Obama's steered the climate change bill through America, and he's done very well at the conferences and stuff. I think because he's been statesmanlike because he's just done the easy conferences. What I want to see is Obama having a huge fallout with the religious leaders of Tibet so that I can see the headline, Obama Lama Ding Dong.
The end of that round, the points go to Frankie, Hugh and Tom. Now we play a round called Loose Men. This game involves Andy, Rod, Tom and Russell. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is where we test our performance stand-up skills. We spin our news generator, it settles on a topic, and anyone can volunteer jokes about the chosen subject. The winners and the people I judge should produce the funniest stuff. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is credit crunch. Who wants to come in on that? Andy Parsons.
Now, the government have got this idea that what they want to do is bankers who've lost their jobs, they want to retrain them as teachers, but in half the time it would normally take to train a teacher. I bet the teachers are happy about that, aren't they? Hey, these people were crap at banking. The chances are they're also going to be crap at teaching, and they'll be even crapper if they're trying to train them in half the time it would normally take. Yeah, these people, right, surely it'd be better to retrain them as bankers. That is what they were crap
Well done, Andy Parsons. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is eating out. Who wants to talk about that? Rod.
I ate out the other day. That's what I went to Cardiff Bay. It's all changed, you know. They've done it all up, and it's all European development money. And some of the places now have got tables outside. It's al fresco dining in Wales. Just taking the piss. I think I tried to have a Twixt on a bus stop a few years ago down there. It was too wet to eat. So everyone's pretending it's Madrid down there. You know, your soup bowl's filling up faster than you can eat it. I didn't get past my starters after 7 hours of soup and rainwater I gave up. Everyone's pretending it's Madrid, don't they? Your soup bowl's filling up. There's waiters with frosted eyebrows fighting their way to the tables going, spaghetti carbonara, spaghetti carbonara. I'll get another one, I'll get another one.
Rock'n'roll. That leaves us with Tom and Russell. Let's spin the wheel. The next subject is extreme sports. Who wants to come in on that?
No. Why not? I went skydiving. I don't know if anybody here has ever gone skydiving, but if you haven't gone, I'll tell you what they do. They give you a couple lessons, then they bring you up into the plane, and you're not allowed to jump out of the plane on your own because it's too scary. So what they do is they hang you off the wing of the plane, which isn't scary at all. And the guy inside, he yells, "Let go!" 3 times. Then he gets mad. Starts kicking your hands. 'Cause I'm not letting go. We all skydive different. I skydive with a big plane in my hand.
OK, Russell, let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. Topic is families.
Well, families are quite peculiar. Mine are wonderful. I went to Brighton the other day, and my uncle was like, watch out, it's full of gays, and they'll get you. They'll get me. They're gays, they're not ninjas. Not gonna... I'm so glad that I was raised by lunatics. I remember one of the weirdest stories I had happen to me when I was little. I was 8 years old. I was in Lanzarote. I just put some rubbish in a bin. I came around a corner and I was confronted by 2 werewolves, right? Turned out it wasn't werewolves, it was my mum and dad. Ah, ha, ha, isn't it hilarious? Not really, I've shat myself, right? But I've only recently found out they did not buy the wolf masks in Lanzarote. They bought them in England, which is beautiful and chilling at the same time. Look what I've got, David. Couple of wolf masks. You know, you don't like wolves, don't you? Captain Shitterbrick next door. Well, let's put him on now, scare him. Can I hold you just there, David? Can I wait until we're in a foreign country, get him really out of his comfort zone, and then properly shit him out? Families.
Well done, Russell. Point it in and go to Rod and Tom. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Rod, which category would you like?
The media, please.
Right, the media, OK. The answer is 1 million. What is the question?
How many Asian children are Brad and Angelina planning to adopt?
Is it, how many times could I punch Adrian Chiles in the face without making him uglier?
Is it in a poll of 1 million people? How many people hate Cristiano Ronaldo?
Is it...
Yes, clearly neither he nor his mother were in the poll then.
No.
Is it how many men will take their kids to watch Harry Potter this week simply to see how Hermione's getting along?
Is it, in 20 years' time, what will be the size of the black nation that Madonna rules?
Is it how many nectar points do you need to get a set of tumblers?
How much of the money that Amy Winehouse made from the song Tried to Make Me Go to Rehab has she spent on rehab?
Is it by what percentage would the situation in the Middle East be improved if we gave George Bush to the Taliban?
Is it what number would you get if you took everybody in Scotland who gave a shit about the Ashes and added 1 million?
Is it the number? It's something to do with the phone tapping thing.
It is something to do with the phone tapping, yeah.
Is it the number of conversations of John Prescott's they had to listen to before they got one without the words party bucket in it?
Oh, I know what it is. It's the amount of celebrities that were on a list that they were going to...
Not 1 million.
It's the number they
How
paid
long a list? How long a list would that be?
Hey, it's the amount the News of the World had to have paid out so far to people who have accused them of tapping their phone.
Absolutely well done, Rod Gilbert. Absolutely spot on. Very good. The question I was looking for was, what is the minimum amount in pounds that The Guardian claims that the News of the World has already paid in out-of-court settlements to victims of the phone-tapping scandal? This money was said to be paid to settle legal cases that threatened to reveal evidence of journalists' possible use of criminal methods to get stories. So who is alleged to have had their phones tapped?
Unbelievable, people like Patsy Kensit.
Yeah.
How hard can it be to find out what Patsy Kensit's doing? She'll show you her tits for £50 in foot tokens. You know, John Prescott. What are you going to learn from John Prescott's phone bill? He's having an affair with someone called Domino's.
Vanessa Feltz they got as well, didn't they? Vanessa Feltz said that she knew that she suspected her phone was being tapped because when she went to a restaurant, there were some photographers waiting for her, and how did they know that she was going to eat? And you think, it's because you're Vanessa Feltz.
Maybe they just followed the same trail of cake crumbs that led her there. Maybe they just hung about outside Greg's and got lucky.
It was an astonishingly low-rent collection of people. I mean, it just been Feltz, Anne Robinson, Boris Johnson. If it had ended, this is ended with Molly Sugden, Barry Chuckle and Peppa Pig. It couldn't have been less impressive as a series of high-profile claimants.
My favourite was one of them was tapping Nigella Lawson. Imagine that as a job. Feel like an upper-class sex line. And just be there going, I'm thinking about making creme brulee. Be like, oh, can I swap with someone? I've had an erection for 7 days.
I missed this. They phone tapped Nigella.
Nigella Lawson.
I thought there was a lot of interference on the webcam I'd hidden in her toilet. They've spent £1 million finding out Nigella lost, getting the secret of a perfect Yorkshire pudding. She's written a book about it. They taped a call between Gordon Taylor, the head of the PFA, and Alan Shearer. How didn't that make bigger news? It must have been knocked off page 1 by a story about the rising price of sheds.
News of the world, didn't they? They said we have always been known for our credibility, integrity and journalistic standards. Now, that doesn't need a punchline, does it?
It wasn't like some fantastic technological thing where they, you know, they were using satellite, like that Will Smith movie where they're tracking stuff at the same, like geostationary orbits. It was just they ring up the number and presume that you hadn't changed the code. So it just had 0000 or 1234, and then they got all your answer machines. It is a heist on the level of just ringing these people's houses and whoever answers going, hey, it's me, any messages? And hoping that they didn't recognise that it wasn't your voice. Right? You sound strange. I've got a cold. Any messages? They
haven't got a name for it, have they? Because scandals always have a name, so there's always something Gate, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, Ron Gate or Camilla Gate. And this would have to be Stargate, although they didn't do with Jackie Smith's husband. They avoided it there because that would have to be Mastergate. So maybe it's changed at that.
Something strange, isn't it, about them taping phone calls by footballers? Have you met footballers?
Yeah,
I've met quite a few footballers, right? It's just basically like talking to people who are like 8 years old. Like a conversation between footballers is like, oh, all right, Jamie Redknapp, did you have red sauce or brown sauce with your dinner? I don't know. Who's your favourite Transformer, Alan?
Some of them are quite funny. Peter Crouch was asked what he'd be if he wasn't a footballer, and he went, probably a virgin. That's pretty funny, man. That's a pretty good line. And what I love about that, if Crouch is watching, he's probably sat at home going, that's my joke, doing the wrong.
Not just a virgin, Peter, a virgin in a circus. Come and see the ladder man.
He'd be the daddy long legs man because they'd have stuck other ones because he's so spindly and he'd be doing this with like carpet version.
Do you reckon Tim Burton sees Peter Crouch and just feels really depressed about his own imagination? So much better than that. To be honest,
he's like the Nightmare Before Christmas made real. Did anyone see the interview with Jackie Smith in The Guardian?
Yeah, I don't really. I only read the news of the world.
She said, didn't she? She said she was talking about the story, right, where she said the husband had been found like, having a porn film, and she said it was the most embarrassing story possible.
But if I was married to Jackie Smith, I'd be watching porn. I'd be having porn piped directly into my eyes like a Clockwork Orange. I'd have, like, electrodes taking porn into different parts of my brain like a monkey in an anti-vivisection poster.
The best thing about this was the way the different papers reported it. When he got caught watching the porn, The Guardian basically just went, isn't it awful? Poor guy, can you imagine it? The Daily Mail actually compared Jackie Smith to Al Capone. The Sun simply suggested a list of films he may have watched. One of which was called... one of which was called Anal Boutique, and I've seen that. It's rubbish. It's just about... It is. It's just about a lady with a really tidy shop.
I'm not telling you,
people queuing up, though. I mean, it's a general rule in life. People who live in glass houses should masturbate in the basement. That's a rule I strongly believe. OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Russell, Rod and Andy. Now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you can make your way over to the performance area, please. I caught ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear on a survival show.
I was first taught to eat in the bush by a French girl I went out with at university.
To get the fish, break the ice, jump the checkout, and run!
Not only is this lake good for fish, but we can also put a body in it.
Using excrement, mud and twigs, they've made primitive bedding here at the Premier Travel Lodge.
I'm in the Congo. Let's settle this once and for all. Do you boys like umbungo?
Here I am in the jungle. The mighty jungle. I win my way, I win my way, I win.
But who are the truly civilised? Is it the Mbupi tribe, or is it us, with our books, our medicine, and our internet? Oh, yes, it's us.
Of course, food is a scarce and valuable resource to these tribespeople. So I've just bagged myself 2 nights with this fella's wife for a Twix.
You know, Ant and Dec think that their jungle's pretty tough. Well, they joined me today. There was no food, so I ate them.
The villagers get up early and walk 5 miles to fetch clean water every day, which begs the question, why not move the village closer?
The strong, powerful sun is making me sweat. Oh, shit, here comes his dad.
I've been living in these woods for 3 weeks now, but that's what happens if you're married to the Home Secretary and she catches you watching porn.
I'm Bear Grylls, and this is my brother, Wolf Stir Fry.
I've just achieved my life's ambition of climbing Everest with no food and no equipment. Now do you love me, Daddy?
OK, the next topic is unlikely things to read on a packet.
Ragu sauce. If you gave this to someone who is actually from Italy, they'd punch you in the face.
To open, push down tab, break tab, swear repeatedly, stab with a pair of scissors!
Serves 4, you greedy bastard. Now put some of that back.
Viagra are proud sponsors of Andy Murray, for people who can only ever achieve a semi.
Bag may also be used for autoerotic asphyxiation.
Fair trade coffee. If you don't like it, you're racist.
Sunny Delight counts towards your 5 a day as -2.
To stop diarrhoea, take 1 teaspoon and shove it up your arse.
Adults and children over 12 years. Try not to get those two mixed up.
Cup of soup. Just add soup.
Best before date, Rohypnol.
Serving suggestion. On a plate, you thick moron.
We use only the very cheapest horse meat to make fuck it, it's just a cat.
Get that round of applause to Frankie, Hugh and Tom. That is the end of the show. This week's winners are Frankie Boyd, Hugh Dennis and Tom Stade. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Rod Gilbert and Russell Howard. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
More from the inventor who invents things before they've been invented. That Mitchell and Webb look on the way next. And Joy's babies proving to be a bit of a nightmare at bedtime. Psychoville's coming up at 10 here on BBC Two.
Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien, and joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Lucy Porter and Russell Howard, Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Greg Davies. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of David Cameron. But what does CEPL stand for?
Is it just a description of what he's like? Is it conservative, Etonian, posh, la-di-da?
Is it crap Elvis prowls London?
Is it the essential conundrum that is Cameron, cyclist employs private limo driver?
Is it Cameron employed in parking lot?
Well, close. Mine was slightly more sinister. In that mine was going to be, he started a new car wash and he's going, clean everything, Polish lad.
Mine's just slightly more sinister again. Cameron enjoys penetrating ladyboys.
That is, you're right. Slightly more sinister than employing a Polish man to clean cars. Yeah.
Is it Cameron 80% lizard? You put a mouse near him, straight away.
So, would the tongue just come out there?
Yeah.
So was he holding a fly in the end of his finger? John, I have to give you a clue. The C doesn't stand for Cameron.
Conservatives.
There we go. That's what the C stands for. Not particularly difficultly.
Enjoy.
Pointing lots.
No, not pointing lots. Conservatives extend penis length.
Extend pole lead.
Very good. Well done. Thank you very much, Judah. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Conservatives extend poll lead. This is the news that David Cameron's party are now further ahead of Labour than at any point since the height of the economic crisis last September, increasing pressure on Gordon Brown.
We've got to remember with this poll, right, it's just a survey. Surveys mean nothing. Right, the Liberal Democrats got 18%. Nick Clegg got 18%. Who is he? When he tells his mum he's coming round for tea, she looks him up on Wikipedia.
The one thing I enjoyed the survey is that it actually showed the establishment party, let's say, going up, and then the Greens and the BNP going down a couple of points, which is an interesting one. The BNP rise in particular is interesting because they, for the first time in their history, have exactly the same slogan of the Conservatives, which is out with Brown.
Are you suggesting that the Greens are losing people to the BNP? Yeah. It's amazing. You know who doesn't recycle? Indians.
How's Cameron doing that?
Well, Cameron keeps on talking about he's looking after, and he will look after, hard-working families. And you're thinking, well, that's just politician nonsense, isn't it? When have you ever actually come across a hard-working family? There's always one dosser in each and every family. And if you don't know who it is in your family, it's probably you.
The thing we forget about Cameron is he presents this blokish image, but he's just unbelievably posh. He's pretending he's going to sort the banks out. He is the same people as the banks. They're the same people. The only reason he'd get tough with a banker would be if it was someone who farted on his head at school.
It is the thing I found with Cameron, because Cameron, it's one of the easiest gigs in the world, because all he has to do is shut up, and because Brown is clearly on his way out, so all Cameron has to do, basically, to get elected, is not answer any questions.
But he hasn't,
and all he does is, people say, well, what do you do? And he say, well, I'll tell you what we won't do. I'll tell you what we won't do. Everything. And this is a job interview. How irritating does that get in a job interview if somebody just, like, if you had a guy around to your house, a builder, to fix a hole in the roof, and you said, well, there's a hole, what do you do? I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't fix that with cheese. That's what I won't do. If you were interviewing a nanny, how irritating would that be if you said to a nanny, well, what would you do with that child? I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't tie the child to a wall and go in the piss with my mates. I won't do that.
My favourite guy in the shadow cabinet is, the only one who's ever said anything, is Andrew Lansley, who came out, he's the Shadow Health Secretary, and he said people should enjoy the credit crunch because it'll allow them to spend more time with their families because they'll be unemployed. Other benefits include increased upper body strength from having to climb out of a skip every morning and improved agility from chasing rats about with a fork. Who is this guy? Does he go up to blind people and congratulate them on how much money they're saving on wallpaper?
Are the Conservatives living on the right planet? All this idea about confiscating mobile phones and bikes. How about confiscating knives and guns. What's the worst you can do with a bike and a phone? A ride by texting.
Even if we got teenagers' mobile phones, we wouldn't even be able to understand what they're texting to each other. It'd be like a Clockwork Orange or something. Are you slipping my Grubel, Terry? I should fro-fo.
I think what the text will end up saying over the coming months is, you're not going to believe this, Dave, a Tory politician has just tried to mug me for my phone.
I now have his phone. Ha, 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 ha. LOL, epic fail.
They're doing it, this is the funniest thing, they're doing it to stop graffiti. Now, some graffiti's amazing, isn't it? I was driving along the other day, there was a big sign that said stop, and underneath somebody had written hammer time. Now, you do not confiscate someone's phone if they don't.
I'm all for confiscating bikes, though, because I've only ever been beaten up once in my life, and it was by kids on bikes when I was 10. And it was when I learnt a very, very valuable lesson in life. I was playing cricket in a local park, right, and these kids on bikes came swooping down the hill, and they nicked the stumps that we were playing with, right? And this was where I learnt my valuable lesson, which was, don't try and do voices. Because instead of saying to these kids, excuse me, can you give me my stump back? What I actually said to them, and I've no idea to this day why I said it, I said, excuse me, would you mind handing me back my stumps? And what they did was they beat me round the head with the stump.
You got them back,
Wait a minute, Hugh. This taught you not to do voices. You've done every third voiceover I've ever heard. You're the voice of Findus Crispy Pancakes.
They're amazing, though. Those moments you look back in your youth when you go, why did I say it? I used to get bullied because I've got a lazy eye, still quite bad. And kids are really cruel. Look at him, he's obsessed with his nose. Who said that? I used to cry. I looked like a Picasso in the rain. And I did that thing. I went to my dad for advice. Like, Dad, I need help. And my dad goes, say this to the bullies and they'll bully you no more. Picture me, age 10. It's nearly as embarrassing as your story. Age 10 going, bullies, how can my eye be lazy when it wanders around so freely? Yeah.
So what's Cameron doing here?
He's playing football and he's looking like a twat.
You look at the girl in that photo. She's got no interest in going for the ball whatsoever. She is going to take Cameron out good and proper.
Maybe they were just distracting him while the other kids nick his bike.
I think there's a photograph they're not showing us where that wee guy's running really quickly because at the side there's Madonna with a net.
Who has spoken out this week in criticism of the BBC?
Harriet Harman.
Harriet Harman,
bizarrely, Harriet Harman's got obsessed with the Strictly Come Dancing. It's amazing. And also, because basically what's happened, there's a 66-year-old lady who goes, you're not dancing right to the people. Arlene Phillips. And she's been replaced by Alicia Dixon. They've asking all sorts of politicians. They asked Sir Ming Campbell what he thought about the age row, and he said biscuits would be lovely Linda. So,
what's the big fuss about her getting sacked? It's show business.
Yeah.
It's show business, Arlene. It's not ugly business. You think I'll still be on Mark the Week once these looks go? No. It's not like she's completely disappearing from TV, Arlene Phillips. Straight after this, she's going to be on Live Autopsy with Gunther Van Hagen. And then she's back on our screens at Christmas being chased by the Ghostbusters.
Unfair, though, that they're getting rid of her, and they got rid of Anna Ford, and they got rid of all these women in their 60s when Bruce Forsyth is still working.
Yeah.
And Bruce Forsyth, they've found woolly mammoth fossils that are younger than Bruce Forsyth. But he is still working, and these people aren't. And that seems to be wrong to me.
Lots of people get replaced as they get older.
But men don't quite so much as women. I'm absolutely on the women's side here. I do genuinely think it's terrible. And Joan Bakewell, she came out this week and said, she thought this was awful. She represents the older person in Parliament as well.
Technically, Joan Bakewell is the government official and is their actual voice of older people, which is the perfect gig, because you're never going to get replaced by somebody younger if you're the voice of older. You can only get better at that job as time goes by.
Surely getting old is just depressing. That's what it's really about. Getting old is just depressing in general. Like, being married in your 60s is sort of like being a member of the National Trust. You've got free entry to an old rune, but nobody wants to use it. Seriously, can I just Don't knock sex with older people. They're much more experienced and they'll tidy your room. This is my girlfriend. She's 66. I've never missed Emmerdale.
But, you know, it isn't just women. The BBC, like, they're pretty patronising to old people, particularly the weather. Do you notice that? Whenever it's really hot, the weatherman always leads it and goes, now, old people, it's going to be very hot, so look after yourself. Like, old people who go, it's going to be hot! Get me dog costume, I'm going to sit in the car! With all these complaints about there not being enough old people on telly, they should just have their own channel. You know, like CBeebies, have, like, C-Biddies or something like that. Have some old woman in a chair.
Hello, welcome to 24 hours of tutting and casual racism.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of that round, the points go to Frankie here and there. Now we play a round called Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. This game involves Lucy, Greg, Andy and Russell, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is where we test our performers' stand-up skills. We spin our news generator, it settles on a topic, and anyone can volunteer jokes about the chosen subject. The winners are the people I judge to produce the funniest stuff. That is just against nature. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. OK, the first topic is Britain. Who wants to come in on that?
Yes, I love Britain. Do you? Kind of. I think Britain's amazing, but I think we're quite hard on ourselves. Like, if you go to America and you do shows, they always get this thing where you go on stage in America, like in Chicago, and you say, oh, so what's Chicago like? And they go nuts. They go, woo, yeah, Chicago, woo, 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 for about a day. And then you come back over to Britain and you go to somewhere like Birmingham and you say, oh, so what's Birmingham like? And they all go, oh, it's a bit shit. I live in London, in Britain. I live in Kentish Town, which is lovely because it is actually like a Kentish town. Unfortunately, the town in Kent it's like is Maidstone, which is crap. North London's quite posh, though, because there's a hairdresser's near us, which is called the Elysian Fields Hairdressers. Oh, it's where heroic hair goes to die. Where I used to live in South London, the hairdresser was called We're Going to Cut You, Slag.
Thank you very much, Mr. Porter. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is sport. Who wants to come in on that?
So, hey, Freddie Flintoff, how drunk would he have been on Monday night? That's all I've got on that one. We have got a great new British hope for our sport, though. Laura Robson, Britain's tennis, 15 years old, both her parents Australian. We don't mind immigration when they've got a bit of talent. We object to people sneaking into Britain on a rubber dinghy unless they can do it really bloody quickly.
Thank you very much, Andy Parsons. OK, that leaves us with Greg and Russell. Let's spin the wheel. The next topic is education. Who wants to come in on that? Russell.
I remember school being fun. I think my favourite moment ever in life, pretty much. There was a girl in our school called Lydia. She was trying to make her calculator work. She was repeatedly knocking it against a desk. And after about an hour, our teacher went, Lydia! How would you like it if I banged you against the desk? It's the greatest day of school. But now it's more sinister, isn't it? Like, they're now talking about teaching 5-year-olds sex education. Of course, people are very angry. It's disgusting! It's too much! Like, calm down. Not going to teach them technique. Right, this is how I like to do it, kids. That's right. Kids aren't going to run home, put dolls around a toy car and go, look, Mum, they're dogging, they're dogging. It's going to be some poor teacher trying to talk to 5-year-olds about love. Can you imagine a harder job? Hello, children. I'm here to teach you about love.
Good luck with that, mate. I'm off to lick that tree.
Thank you very much, Russell. OK, Greg, let's see what topic you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is the human body.
I have to tell you that being a tall man in this country is tedious, ladies and gentlemen. Tedious, because in small towns throughout the country, there are a series of jokes prepared by the locals on our behalf. I'll be walking innocently into a local pub or down the street, and I'll get several jokes. One of the jokes might be this. Just to give you an example of the level we're talking about. Another joke might be, what's the weather like up there? It's freezing. There's a massive climate change in this amount of space here, you toothless buffoon. Probably the most offensive example of this is genuine. I was at a cash point, and there was a little old woman in front of me at the cash point tapping away with her claws, and I'm sorry, I'm just quite angry about this. And when she'd finished, bless her heart, she turned around, and she hadn't seen me, she turned around and she went like this. Oh! Maybe not that sexually. She said, oh! And then with no hint of irony at all, she asked me this question. Would you like a job at my house, changing light bulbs? No. No, old woman. I have plans of my own. Now, get out of the way of the cash point. 20 minutes is long enough for you to have worked out that that's a Tesco club card.
Thank you very much, Greg. At the end of that round, the points go to Greg and Lucy. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Greg, which category would you like?
Science, please.
OK, science is the category. The answer is 40 years. What's the question?
What is the average waiting time at Glasgow A&E on a Friday night?
For how long would I happily follow Beyoncé up an impossibly tall ladder?
Is it how long would it take to cook John Prescott?
Is it...
Medium rare.
Yeah. What is the youngest my balls have looked?
Is it how much older does Dara look than Russell?
Is it, on average, how long does it take me to knock one out to loose women?
Genuinely, depends who's on the panel, I feel. That average can sway quite a lot.
The day you were on it was fantastic.
I'm doing it next week, and what I really don't want is to be thinking, oh, what's Frankie Ball doing right now?
You'll be thinking... it's a safe bet, Lucy. To be honest, even if I'm not watching it, it's just that time of day.
What duration did Michael Jackson's agent initially plan for his run at the O2 Arena?
How long is it going to take me to raise the finance for my self-penned disaster porno film, 6911?
It's about space. I know the answer. Hugh, please, I know the answer. Is it for how many years has Buzz Aldrin looked in the mirror and gone, it should have been me?
That is essentially the answer. Do you want to give the answer in a slightly more?
It's 40 years since we landed on the moon.
Very good. Well done, Russell. Thank you very much. Yes, the question I was looking for was how long is it since man first set foot on the moon, as celebrated this week? It was on July the 21st, 1969, that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin set foot on the lunar surface, whilst the third member of the Apollo 11 crew, Michael Collins, waited in the spaceship. Collins later said he was sweating like a nervous bride.
It's such an interesting fact because, like, we've only really... A lot of the population just found out that there was a third guy. You're like, oh, really? Oh, cool. How tempted would he have been just when they were coming back just to put on an alien mask? Like that. Hey, you never guess what the...
Before we move on, can I get this straight? We're going to talk about this like the moon landings happened?
Yes, we're presuming for the sake of this conversation that the moon has actually happened.
In 1969, right, they took off and went, oh, let's point out the moon. Let's land on the moon. Oh, there's the moon. Oh, time's up. Let's take off from the moon. Go back to Earth. Let's point it. We don't want to miss Earth. NASA can't launch a rocket from here without blowing it up. Their next mission is called Operation Spacegrave. We, as a culture, do not have the ability to get to the moon. We don't have the ability to get a Saturday show right for Graham Norton. What else are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about Aslan's birthday, are we? And Mrs. Tiggy Winkle having a wedding anniversary. It didn't fucking happen.
It did happen. There was a faked moon landing, but you are confusing it with the one by Wallace and Gromit.
Their current theory is that what they want to do is try and make a stopping-off station on the moon so as they can get to Mars. And that sounds to me rather like a Ryanair flight, isn't it? Oh, yes, we're flying to Mars, we actually land on the moon, and there'll be a bus service from there.
Doesn't going to the moon and going to Mars seem a bit pointless now that we've invented Photoshop? Hey, there's a man on Mars, and it's Bruce Lee.
They've actually found that, though, they've got a little bit of Mars back, haven't they? And they've actually found that there is life on Mars in the form of bacteria. So now we know that if the Martians ever do land, all we've got to do, little bit at Sillet Bang, we're away.
It'd be a very short film, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
War of the Worlds. And just Tom Cruise cleaning his kitchen. End of War of the Worlds.
There's a British guy up there at the minute, isn't there, in the space station? Yeah.
No, just in space.
Oh, OK.
Just in space, generally. Oh, that's the sad thing in space is Satanta still have the satellite going around. Just recently. And it's just trapped inside is Steve McManaman going, hello, hello.
It's like the Superman baddie. Just spinning around.
all the Satanta presenters, Superman, Jor-El, they're all in there trapped forever. Oh, we overextended ourselves financially.
You can't have a British space station. Now, it would just sound so rubbish just to hear him up in space going, Nuneaton, we have a problem. You know that robot you said you sent us? Yeah, it's an old man covered in tin foil.
You can't really have a British space programme, man. The only way we'll ever get a Union Jack onto the moon is if we stick Nick Griffin on Brixton High Street.
Would you go to Mars if you...
Are you offering?
I've already applied for the programme to be fired to Mars. I've applied several times under the name Chris Moyles. Yeah, just surprise me. Don't even tell me if you're going to do it. Just stick a sack over my head and fire me up there.
And if I say no, and if I say it's not me, I'm just joking. That's just a funny joke I do. Just fire me to Mars.
There's going to be no glory if we ever put a man on Earth, because you're there for 3 years not using your body. You'd arrive in Mars, go, here we go, and... my legs don't work!
Who else is in the space race?
China!
China!
Trying to reach the moon. Do you know how they're doing it?
How are they doing it?
Human pyramid. On a motorbike. On a motorbike so they can get closer to the moon. They're always going at the moon during a full moon. They're not stupid, the Chinese. Yes, we take over moon. Not called moon anymore, called Death Star. You know, because there's no atmosphere, apparently Neil Armstrong's footprints are still...
Yeah, they're there because there's nothing to blow it away, yeah.
Within an enormous Chinese moon city! Does nobody else fear China?
Are you worried that you're not tapping into a general zeitgeist every time you hit China?
It definitely seems to be just me.
Do you know, and who else is doing it?
India.
India's doing it. India's going to send up a rocket.
I'd like to hear Frankie's accent on that one.
I can't because I'd lose my green fans.
They're going to charm an enormous snake out of a basket.
More likely they'll send the rocket up and there'll be hundreds of people hanging on the outside of the rocket.
What was it?
Any other stereotypes?
I had some idiot today go, well, they put in there, Chinese and Indians up on the moon, at least there'll be some decent food, I might actually go. And you what, that was the only thing holding you back, wasn't it?
OK, at the end of that round, the point's going to Russ and Lucy and Andy! Now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you can make your way to the performance area. I caught ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. OK, here we go. The first subject is deleted lines from a fantasy film.
I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn, the heir to Isildur and part of the Fellowship of the Ring. Please leave a message after the tone.
Ron had been suffering from swine flu, and people were avoiding him. Luckily, he was ginger and he was used to it.
I don't know why you're so upset, Harry. The original Dumbledore died 3 films ago and no one gave a shit.
Did you find Narnia in the wardrobe? No, Edmund. We found your porn stash.
My friends, we will never hear the word Mordor again. Taggart has been cancelled.
No, Harry, it's not a five-headed dog. It's girls aloud. Me.
I am Aslan, formed by the merger of Asda and Matalan.
We had only been there for a day, but to us it felt like 15 years. That's Birmingham.
Did you honestly think I could be defeated by someone younger? I am Arlene Phillips!
Welcome to Mordor, twinned with Swansea.
This will never work, Frodo.
In the wardrobe, we found a magical compartment that led to the Fritzl family.
He stole it from me, my precious... Oh, no, it's in my pocket.
You all right, John? How's it going, all right? Yeah. How's the kids? All right? See you later.
I'm not a dwarf, I'm a lesbian.
The next topic is things you don't want to hear from your flatmate.
That's my milk in the fridge. I squeeze it out of my tits with a vice.
No, we can't share the electricity bill. I've got a phone charger and a laptop, and you're on a life support machine.
My last flat was just like Friends. Have you seen the one where Joey kills everybody?
I love talking to you. With you, I can
be my real self.
There's just two of us. Well, three if you count God.
I'd give it 10 minutes in the toilet if I were you. That one could talk.
Well, if you don't think I'm a nosy bastard, why did you write that in your diary?
Oh, that's just a novelty shower gel in the shape of a webcam.
Hey, you said there wasn't enough room to swing a cat. Look at this. Loads of room.
Oh, a Mr. G had called. He says it's time.
I don't see why I should pay for half the loo roll when I never use any.
I'll tell you what, that Hoover is powerful.
OK, there's one certain way to find out who ate my yoghurt: an AIDS test.
At the end of that round, the points go to Russell, Lucy and Andy.
And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Lucy Porter and Russell Howard. Commiserations to Frankie Boyle, Hugh Janet and Greg Davis. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Green. Good night.
It's creepy, weird and darn funny. Natalie Cassidy joins the cast of Psychoville for the penultimate episode tonight at 10. But before that, next on BBC Two, never mind the Buzzcocks.
Hello and welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Alan Cochrane and Russell Howard, Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Adam Hills. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Alan, which category would you like?
Politics, please.
OK, your category is politics. The answer is 27. What is the question?
How many moons does Uranus have? I'm not sure it's political right now.
Well, I don't know. Don't say you don't get the news from us.
Yeah. Is it in Dundee? How long does a day seem to last?
Would that be 27 hours or 27 days?
Just the number 27. They've not come up with the concept of either hours or days in Dundee. They live in a timeless pit.
Is it, if you're a footballer, how many times can you punch a DJ and get away with it?
Is it after how many miles of a marathon are you absolutely certain you've taken the wrong turning?
Is it how many Gurkhas actually know who Joanna Lumley is?
Is it how long was the trail of chocolate hobnobs I used to lure my gran through the doors of a Swiss clinic?
Where did you start that trail? How big were those hobnobs?
Scotland. It was just like an Easter egg hunt. One on the plane, one in Geneva.
Is it how many times a day does Russell Brand think of writing a joke, then give up and just shag someone?
Is it how old is this year's winner of Middlesbrough's glamorous granny competition?
Is it how many times could I flick a peanut hard into Amanda Holden's face before she felt anything?
Is it how many people still have jobs?
It's the age of the Conservative MP who was elected at the Norwich by-election.
You're absolutely right. Well done, Frankie. Yes, the question I was looking for was, how old is Chloe Smith, the Conservative winner of the Norwich North by-election, the youngest ever female Tory MP? She took the seat from Labour. How did she describe herself?
27 years old.
Well, other than the 27 years old.
Did she describe herself as looking like a lesbian jockey? She looks like who I hope would be starring in a porno version of Harry Potter.
Hello, Chloe. Welcome to public life. I do find that I'm creeped out by politicians in their 20s. I just think there's something weird about somebody in their 20s being an elected MP. It's like people who dress their dog up in human clothes. It's just wrong. She, to me, looks like a Labrador with a dicky bow pretending to be a waiter. There's just something wrong about it.
Is she really?
Yeah. When you listen to her talk, I'm pretty sure if you ripped her face off, it would just be a 50-year-old man drinking brandy just going, oh, bugger. She's just so dull.
Ripped her face off. Is there any other way you could have described that metaphor that didn't involve ripping her face off?
Hang on a minute, you called her a dog dressed up a minute ago.
No, I said it was similar. It was jarring to me mentally in the same way that a dog dressed in human clothes is jarring. I didn't say, if you rip off her face, there will be a puppy wearing a hat.
To be honest, it's not that big a win. I think if I had won Norwich North, I would have asked for the cash alternative.
Would she build herself as a typical Norwich lass? She's only got 2 eyes. She's a business consultant in Norwich. You feel you're paying too much interest in your loan? Well, let's put 3 chickens in the pentangle and see what happens.
My whole family come from East Anglia. And
that explains a great deal here.
They're saying, aren't they, that the Conservatives won this particular election, but in fact, the winner was in fact apathy, wasn't it? Because less than 1 in 2 people actually bothered to vote. Apathy usually is the winner with the British public, isn't it? What do we want? A pie and a kip. When do we want it? Whenever. It'll be crap anyway.
By-election coverage is my least favourite. Did you watch the coverage of it?
Yeah, I did not.
They just do that thing where they go, well, let's see what would happen if this was played across the country and 60% of the MPs became Tory and this is what the House of Commons would look like. And you're like, I can visualise that anyway. I have a mind. They should only show things that I can't visualise. Well, let's imagine that 80% of the seats were won by Tories and they weren't wearing any trousers in zero gravity.
Did you see when, because basically they line up all the people who wanted to win, or the candidates is the correct word there. They line up... Don't.
Interpreting for the 5-year-olds, however.
There you go. And then they wanted to go to the big house on the Thames.
There we go. As I was going to say, gentlemen, I'd forgotten. No, I remembered. They lined up all the candidates, and there was a wonderful moment because they say how many votes they've got, and people go, la, la. And then the guy for the Monster Raving Lunar Party, when he got like 18 votes, he just went, yes! Who wants a space hopper?
Do you know where he came, the Monster Raving Lunar guy?
How many candidates were there?
Not even second from bottom, fourth from bottom.
Yeah.
There were 3 actual serious candidates who polled fewer votes than the Monster Raving Lunar guy.
Well, how well would he do if he was a real loony? Like a guy in a rusty transit van with a bloody hammer?
The guy that came in last actually got 23 votes.
Yeah.
That's probably not even his whole family.
That's few people that you'd know in your life.
That is actually a number that's 4 less than her age.
So it was an election that they didn't need to have.
Fair, though,
then they picked a candidate who caught swine flu. It genuinely, Gordon Brown cannot do anything right. Sometime in the next week, he is going to open, by accident, a portal to hell. And they go, I've opened a portal to hell.
To be honest, this looks better than my constituency.
What economic figures, by the way, just back now, what economic figures came out to contribute to Labour's difficult?
Basically, the economy is shrinking faster than Lady Gaga's balls in the North Sea. We are essentially ruined, aren't we? That's why Alistair Darling, when he did the last budget, came out with the box in front of his face. He looked like a paedophile climbing into a police van.
He looks like he's auditioning for Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat there.
That's him during a nativity play in his school.
He looks like Gordon Brown's just opened that gateway to hell behind him.
Or he's hoping to host Mock the Week. Looks like it looks exactly like...
The actual economic news, though, is that the only part of any company or financial institution in Britain that's still in the black is Alistair Darling's eyebrows.
How much money would we have to have given the banks, right? We gave them tens of billions of pounds. How much money would it have had to have been for them to stop chaining the pens up? Right? The pens are chained up. Argos can do it. Argos can give you a pen, only because if they had a chain there, people would wear it.
I mean, I'm not an expert on economics, but it seems very obvious to me that the economy, in general, is overly dependent on consumer spending, isn't it? And they keep scratching their heads. Every time you turn the news on, they go, oh, not enough people are going out and spending. It's not going to fix it. And I think there's 2 ways of looking at that story. Maybe just everyone has got enough stuff. Maybe everybody else is like me, watching the news in a house full of stuff they don't need, going, I don't need any more shit, thank you. I don't want a book by Gok Kwan or a DVD by one of the several pricks on Top Gear. I've got enough stuff.
The reason consumer spending, went down is loads of our shops are rubbish. I mean, was anyone surprised that Woolworths went out of business with their incredible business plan? Well, let's buy up a lot of prime city centre real estate and use it to sell 1 and 2 pence sweeties. And let's put the sweeties quite close to the door so they're easier to shoplift. And then let's fill the rest of the store with varying sizes of paint roller. Let's have 3 out of the 4 walls covered in paint rollers. But get this, no paint.
You know, I'm actually doing quite well out of the recession. Because I keep picking up corporate gigs as a comedian. And the last one I turned up to, I said, why have you booked me? And they said, because we couldn't afford Dara, Russell or Frankie.
Do you know, on the Woolworths thing, when Woolworths closed down, and we told my 9-year-old daughter that Woolworths had closed down, we used to go...
Hang on a minute, did you gather around? We've got some terrible news.
Put your black dress on, Susan.
It's brilliantly said, because they did a sort of a range of sort of like dressing up clothes and stuff like that. I said, I'm really sad that Woolworths has closed down. And she went, oh, Where will I buy my shoes?
But you know, for all the Labour about gimmicks, the Tories have outlined a new demographic that they're after. Did you see that during the week?
Holby City women.
Yeah, Holby City women.
They said the Holby City women, the kind of women that work in NHS.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the quote was people who had voted Labour in the past but have been turned off by the macho culture surrounding Gordon Brown.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
Talking of which,
do you have a different definition of macho in Britain? At what point is Gordon Brown macho?
You don't know, because behind doors he's stripped off, oiled. Dun, 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 and
They've actually tried to rebrand Gordon Brown. They've tried to make him smile.
Yeah.
They've given him new clothes. They've tried to make him wet. Nothing has worked. If there was a slogan for him right now, it would be Gordon Brown, you can't polish a turd.
At the end of that round of points, we'll back to you and Adam. Now we play a round called Mochter Quinn Medicine Woman. This game involves Alan, Adam, Andy and Russell. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is where we test our performers' stand-up skills. We spin our news generator, settles on a topic, and anyone can volunteer jokes about the chosen subject. The winners are the people I judge who have produced the funniest stuff. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is religion. Who wants to come in on that? Adam Hills.
Like this. Why can you make fun of certain religions? Why can you use certain religions to promote your products and not others? Why can you use Buddha to promote products? You go to any city in the world, you will find a Buddha bar that serves Karma cocktails. You will find a chocolate Buddha restaurant with carvings of Buddha down the wall. If you go to a supermarket right now, I'm sure you'll find a brand of margarine called I Can't Believe It's Not Buddha. Why can you do that with Buddha and no other religious leader? You know why? Because there's no such thing as a Buddhist extremist. What are they going to do? Turn up at your restaurant? Yeah, if you keep calling it that, I've got no choice but to wish you good karma. Shit! You could not do that with any other religious icon. You couldn't have a gym only open on Sunday mornings called Jehovah's Fitness.
Well done, Alan Hill. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is transport. Who wants to come in on that? Andy Parsons.
We've now got ads telling us from the government how to use a level crossing. Now, you'd have thought it was fairly obvious, but apparently the problem is sometimes the barrier goes across the road, but it doesn't go all the way to the other side. And people think, oh, well, it's gone down on my side, but I mean, I can go around the outside, and I can go across. And you're thinking, do we need to spend thousands of government pounds telling people how to use a level crossing? Surely it's just a new form of natural selection.
Thank you very much, Andy. OK, that leaves us with Alan and Russell. Let's spin the wheel. The next topic is fashion. Who wants to come in? Alan.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool. I'm at a funny age. It's hard to get clothes right, I think. Somebody explained to me that there's a theory that the day you pick something up and think, is this too young for me, that is the day that some clothing has got too young for you. And I'm only in my early 30s, but I've had it happen already. I picked something up the other day, I thought, is this too young for me? And it was. It was some of those trainers with wheels on the heels. I think clothes matter. My mind was changed on this last December. I saw a big issue seller in the street dressed as Santa. Yeah, it's fine for us, for adults, but it was daylight, there was children in the street, and I could see one little boy looking at the big issue seller and then looking at his mum as if to say, it's not looking good for my PlayStation 3 this year.
Thank you very much, Alan. OK, Russell, let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The subject, Russell, is etiquette.
It's like ladies with pointy breasts carrying books in a weird way. I'm really socially awkward. I met Jonathan Ross the other day, I got really excited. I was having a wee backstage at a gig, and he went, "You're thingamajig, aren't you?" And for some reason I went, "I can be whoever you want me to be." Now, in a toilet, that is just a come-on, you know? And with women, it's even worse. I was on a train the other day and this lady went, "Excuse me, can you look after my bags whilst I go to the toilet?" Now, in that situation, all you've got to do is go, "Yes." But for some reason, I panicked and went, "You're not allowed to go and it's in the station." And then there you go. So she sits down going, "Fair enough, didn't realise you were the poo goblin." Horrible moment. The train wouldn't move. Eventually it did. I swear she looked at me and went, "Can I go now?"
Thank you very much, Russell. And in that round, the points go to Adam and Alan. Our next round is called Headliners. Here's a typical picture of Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. But what does BITS stand for? It doesn't just mean bits, all right?
So it's not bolognese is too spicy.
Berlusconi is Tatty Bojangle Squeezer.
Is he just auditioning people? Is he going, "Bend over, impressive, that's satisfactory"?
Is it boys? I think it's syphilis.
Is it Berlusconi imitates Tyrannosaurus statue?
Is it beaten in the Second World War?
Is it Berlusconi il toro shago?
Is it basically, I'm Tony Soprano?
Has anyone got anything that approaches the correct
I know what it
answer?
is. In Berlusconi in Tape Scandal.
Yes, that's right. Well done. Thank you very much. The answer I was looking for was Berlusconi in Tape Scandal recently released audio recordings detailing conversations alleged to be between escort Patrizia Daddario and a man alleged to be Berlusconi have led to uncomfortable questions about his personal and political life. The Prime Minister's approval rating has dipped below 50% for the first time. That's what it took. It took actual tapes. Tapes that could not be played to any member of the government here, apart from Jackie Smith's husband, who said they are really good.
It's so wonderful, though, isn't it? Because you're meant to go, "Oh, my God, isn't it appalling?" But when you found out he's 72 and she's 40, you can't help but go, "Impressive." Imagine if he was your granddad. Imagine that. Because when he was asked, said you had sex with a prostitute, did he apologise? No. He went, "Hey, I'm no saint."
I'm no saint isn't a defence or an answer. So did you have sex with a prostitute? So he's got, "I'm no saint." That's just a bizarre non sequitur. Have you had someone killed, Mr. Berlusconi? Well, I didn't invent penicillin.
To be fair, he said more than just "I'm no saint." The actual full quote was, "There are a lot of pretty girls about. I am no saint." So in some ways he did clarify. I think we can take that as a large yes.
He's like this. He said what the tapes actually said, though. On the tapes, he says to the escort girl, "Wait for me in the big bed." And she says, "Which one is that? The one with the curtains?" And you think, how many beds are there in the... Where is he shagging her? Is he in the bed section at IKEA? "Tonight, we will do it in the big bed. Tomorrow, we will do it on the bed with a ladder with the children's desk underneath."
How sexy is actually... that is OK for a 72-year-old man. What's their version of Last of the Summer Wine like? It's just be like porn. Yes, let's get in the bath. Let's all get into the bath. No, the stockings are wrinkly because they're up and down 20 times a day.
He was asked about all the wild parties at his house as well, because they've been going on for ages. And he said something like, "As long as I'm there, nothing inelegant will happen, because I am a man of good taste and character." Or, as it's known in the legal fraternity, the Barrymore defence.
And what did she want in return for this?
She wanted a B&B. Bizarrely, this is genuinely true. She wanted a B&B, and Berlusconi went, "Well, what I'll give you begins with B&B."
What she actually said was, though, she asked for to get, it was like rezoning or to get a permit, and then she said, rather than sending around two people to resolve my property problem, I was offered a seat in the European Parliament. That is full-on seduction right there.
It's an incredible land of sleaze and scandal, isn't it? Can you imagine how tame our expenses scandal looked to them? In Italy, they'd be like, have you claimed for a bath plug? No, that should read butt plug.
The cabinet meetings must be like a pool party in Sir Mix-a-Lot's house.
It's probably just 20 18-year-old swimwear models with sprinklers that come on every hour on the hour.
Wah, wah, they all get up and dance for a while.
Home Secretary, work it harder. This is just the reason we have sex scandals is that we're supposed to be attracted to strong, confident women, but we're not. We're actually attracted to broken, neurotic women because we know that they'll be dirtier in bed. So if you go out with a date with someone and on the first date, they go, I had a great relationship with my father. Inside you're going, damn. My stepfather, on the other hand, back in the game.
If you're having dinner with 20 escorts, what is the polite time to go, well, that's enough dinner? Because clearly you all know you're not there for dinner. Like, I mean, do you have to go, my penis is now al dente. Let us leave the table.
I'm disgusted at the idea of him. I couldn't watch him having sex. It'd be like watching an Egyptian mummy trying to post a sausage.
I think it's quite unlikely you'll be asked to watch him having sex.
I don't know.
I wouldn't rule out anything with Berlusconi. It's interesting because recently one of the papers did a phrase book, and there is a politics version of it, and it included this phrase: "Che onore, il primo ministro vuole fare l'amore con nostra nipote," which means, what an honour, the Prime Minister wants to sleep with our granddaughter. Okay. In other news, what are Labour, according to the Daily Mail, what are Labour threatening in terms of council tax?
Hilarious. A tax on patios, Dara. A tax on patios.
By the way, that is a tax on patios, not a tax on patios. Labour come around in the middle of the night and just smash up your patio. That's for having a patio!
You've been taxed on nice views, aren't you, basically? So basically, if I have a view over one of Girls Aloud, I've got to pay more money, unless it's the ginger one, in which case I get a rebate. It seems incredible to me. It seems incredible that we've been taxed on every improvement and taxed on everything that's good about where we live. So basically now the ideal home would be a shipping container. And the Daily Mail would hate immigrants even more because they say, oh, they're coming over here and taking our shipping container. And even if you moved on to a shipping container, they'd still get you because you'd have a sea view.
But the difference was apparently now that inspectors can go into your house and could stand in your house and go, this is very nice, you have a beautiful view of the ocean. And even if you go, I don't like the ocean personally, I get seasick, I spend my time on the other side of the house looking at my neighbours. What's that worth? That. So how much do I have to pay for that?
Are there any loopholes? Are there any, like, say you've got a view of a mountain, but you're blind? Surely you'd have to pay for that.
That would be a good one, all right.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe you're a student and you go, well, how can I have to pay for the extra view? I don't get up until it's dark.
We overlook the lake where my wife drowned.
Do you pay less if you have a rubbish view? Because surely that should be the case.
Yeah,
you'd hope so. I'll tell you what, the worst view in England, I argue, is on my road. There's an old folks' home and they stare opposite a funeral director's. Get bleaker than that. The only way you can make that worse if there's someone outside dressed as death just sharpening a sign.
Is there a trail of hobnobs leading into the funeral? Has the government got nothing better to do with their time? The economy's in free fall. We're locked in some sort of pointless war. They've got nothing better to do than take pictures from space of my fucking shed, which, if you're watching, I don't have. People used to say, don't shit in your own doorstep. Now, you should shit in your own doorstep because it'll knock a few quid off your council tax.
They're going to end that round. The points go to Russell Alanandi. OK, now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you can make your way to the performance area, please. I cut ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear on a consumer programme.
I'm Adrian Childs, and I was shocked by the new Shrek film. I've not been paid for it, yet I seem to be starring in it.
Consumer scams are on the increase. If you'd like to find out how to stop them, send us your name and address, your date of birth, and your mother's maiden name.
I've just found out my jumper was made by Indian slave children. Can I just say they did a wonderful job?
Next, we speak to Barbara, who was devastated when she bought Daniel Bedingfield tickets that turned out to be genuine.
At first, the company seemed willing to compromise. Then we sent them a letter from Nicky Campbell, and they told us to fuck off.
I won't be on this show next week because I'm going off to Nigeria to pick up my lottery winnings.
Last week, we said that we were going to expose London's security scene. This week, we say, there's been a misunderstanding. Could I please have my kids back?
On closer inspection, Mrs. Wilkins, your hamster's jacuzzi would appear to be a food blender.
Hi, I'm Nicky Campbell, and I've been ploughing through the usual 5 sacks of hate mail to find this letter complaining about washing powder.
Today, as I stand before you penniless in the last clothes I own, we ask, is divorce biased in favour of the greedy bitch who left me?
We got there, the weather were crap, the food were crap, the locals were racist. What a bloody brilliant holiday!
Of the half-dozen condoms we tested, all but 2 burst in my stomach.
I'm Anne Robinson, and without plastic surgery, I'd look like E.T.'s balls.
OK, the next topic is things a sports commentator would never say.
Oh, they've called in the video referee. Which is better, Alien or Predator?
Oh, yes, and that's a beautiful uppercut and another one. But, hey, the DJ is still not going to change the track for Stephen Gerrard.
Jimmy White holding up the cue there as he collapses at the till in odd bins.
Welcome to Robot Wars. Cruncher, ready! Stephen Hawkins, ready.
And England have won the Ashes.
It's the women's 100 metres final, and from left to right, it's no, no, yes, maybe, from behind. Definitely not.
The Queen smashes Camilla in the face and Prince Philip hits her with a hammer. This is what I call a Royal Rumble.
Venus Williams has brought something different to the ladies' game. Male genitalia.
Oh, he's great with a dead ball. When I had one, I had to sit down for a week.
And I think that massive widescreen close-up of the wedgie goes some way to explaining why we don't normally televise judo.
And that bloody smear is the reason you don't see a lot of streakers in Formula 1.
Some people on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now. The Chinese secret police have shot them.
Well, he's finally got his head down. His hands are firmly round the shaft. Which is why I'm handing over to John Infidel.
Overpaid knocks it on to overrated. Overrated on to possible rapist knocks it forward, closet gay, goal!
OK, at the end of that, the points go to Frankie, Hugh and Adam. That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Frankie Boyle, Hugh Jennis and Adam Hills. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Alan Cochrane and Russell Howard. I'm Dara Breen. Thank you for watching. Good night.
It's been a very dark place, but we're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The last in the series of Psychoville is on the way at 10 here on BBC Two. And stay with us for Never Mind the Buzzcocks, next.
Hello and welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Zoe Lyons and Russell Howard, Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. We start with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Zoe, which category would you like?
Politics, please.
OK, your category is politics. The answer is 50%. What is the question?
What is the name of 50 Cent's mathematician brother?
Is it what does Heather Mills save on IMAC?
What is the most you'll have to pay for a sofa at DFS?
What is a bad answer to the phrase, how much do you love me?
Is it the percentage of Ant and Dec that is forehead?
Is it you're a 19-year-old Glaswegian male, how much of your life is left?
Is it if I entered an orgy covered in Marmite, what would be my success rate? But to be honest,
I always find that when people say, oh, I'm a Marmite kind of person, people either love me or hate me. They're always people that everybody hates.
Is it how much of Silvio Berlusconi is made of oil?
Is it what percentage of the population, rather than a TV debate, would like to see Cameron and Brown have a cage fight?
I would love to see that.
So would I.
Yeah. Who would win that?
I would imagine Brown.
Yeah,
Brown. He's got moves.
Yeah. He's also got that dislocatable jaw.
Yeah, he can actually swallow your whole.
He could swallow you.
He can actually take your jaw down.
Imagine that. Wouldn't that be incredible? If Cameron ran towards you.
Cameron's legs flapping.
Is it what was the proportion of cats that died during the making of my ill-fated television pilot, Cat versus Bleach?
It would be 100%, surely.
Do we have an answer that we can do?
I think it's what percentage of the top jobs in the Labour Party does Harriet Harman think should be filled by women?
You're absolutely right. Very good. Well done, Hugh. Thank you very much. Yes, the question I was looking for was, according to Harriet Harman, what proportion of the top 2 posts in the Labour Party should be allocated to Harriet Harman? Or more generally, women. This is the news that Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, Harriet Harman, said that either her post or the job of leader should always be occupied by a woman because, in her words, men cannot be left to run things on their own. Her actual words.
Listen to that applause. Did you hear that? Bingo wings in the corner.
I mean, you know, there is something about representation of women at the high levels of government, but that actual quote does make it seem like every time she left the room, it would turn into a chimp's tea party. And she'd come back in, they go, oh, sorry.
It's true, though, isn't it, that women are underrepresented in the top echelons of politics, aren't they? In Italy, for example, there are lots of women in the top jobs. You could be... Berlusconi will put you in the cabinet in Italy at the age of 19. If you're good enough. So you can see where it's coming from.
Harriet Harman's an incredible figure, isn't she? You know that Harriet Harman, when she first came to my attention, she wrote a book about the history of feminism, which she dedicated to her husband. She's mistaking sexism with people hating her.
She's always saying stupid things, isn't she? She said she is Radio 2 to Gordon Brown's Radio 4. And you're thinking, well, she's not Radio 2. Radio 2 is the most popular radio station in this country. If she's anything, she's Isle of Wight FM on a Sunday morning at 3 o'clock in January when the transmission mast is broken.
Some we're watching there is the guy who does the 3 o'clock in the morning slot.
Why am I the shorthand for crap?
Wouldn't it be great if he looks exactly like Harriet Harman as well?
I know their female politicians always have an element of freakishness, don't they? She's a bit of a freak. Hazel Blears looks like Gianfranco Zola humped an Oompa Loompa. And Margaret Beckett looks like a face trapped in a haunted mirror.
As opposed to Alistair Darling.
Nice to a former winner of Miss Teen USA and John Prescott.
Why are we led by the least among us?
Is that the only ones who are fool enough to do it?
Maybe one of the qualifications to become an MP is you have to be born inside out. That's one of the things. You can And quite clearly sustain your organs on the outside. Come on in.
The thing about Harriet Harman as well is that she's wonderfully dappy. I don't know if you knew this, but her blog was recently broken into and they said she defected to the Tories. And do you know how they found out? Do you know what her password was? Harriet Harman.
They said that if the Lehman Brothers had actually been the Lehman sisters, that the banking crisis wouldn't have been as bad as it was. I think that's utter rubbish.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
absolutely.
I think if there were girls in charge of the Lehmans, they'd just gone, sod it, should we just spend it on shoes?
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on!
Exactly.
$1 billion on Jimmy Choo.
It is a ridiculous argument, the Lehman Brothers, Lehman sisters. I mean, you could just choose any pun at that stage.
Yeah.
But if the Lehman Brothers were the Gaiman brothers, then the gay men should have done much better.
You could say that in tennis. You could go, well, if the Williams sisters were... Oh, that's a bad example.
But the thing is, it just comes down to the fact that they're saying women are better with money. That's what she's saying, which is simply not true. No man bought Mamma Mia. There isn't a man that's listened to Duffy. Everywhere you go, I'm back in my No man went, Duffy, please. I love this stuff. It really sings to me. It isn't a man. This is a direct pop at my girlfriend who spent 30 quid on a doorstop that's a hedgehog.
It's great to be able to come on a TV show, though, and have a go at your girlfriend, isn't it?
Just don't get the doorstop!
I think if women are genuinely better with money, I think we should put Kerry Katona in charge of Barclays and see what happens.
I think we all know what Harriet needs. Our support, because she's right.
Bankers are sexist and bankers are laddish, but that isn't the reason that the banks collapsed. It's not like people were going there, what did the derivatives close at? I don't know, I was giving Jason a wedgie. I think if it's got to be a man and a woman that's in charge, let's have Richard and Judy. Judy can recommend a few books while we wait for the bombs to arrive from all the countries that Richard has offended.
There is an argument, it has to be said, that a female leader would Labour be more electable under a female leader, and she's right, it would be more electable under it would be electable under anyone, frankly. If they elected a hat stand or a jar of hummus to run if the Labour Party chose the H1N1 virus to lead it into the next election, it would do better than they will under Gordon Brown. Why has Lord Mandelson been in the news this week?
He's building a Death Star.
There he is. Dun, 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 dun.
It's been suggested that he should take over as Labour leader because there's not enough evil. Not enough evil. We need a vampire at the helm, just projecting pure evil from his eyes in bolts. He always comes back. He comes back stronger. He's like Thrush or something. Now he's a lord. Who made him a lord? The Sith?
Not a good photograph for someone who looks slightly scary at the best of times. Feel free at home to draw a tiny moustache under his nose just to get the full effect of that photograph.
He's so reptilian. When that woman threw green slime in his face, I thought he was bleeding.
He's not actually going to prosecute the woman who threw green crust at him. And do you know the reason that he's not going to prosecute her?
Loves custard?
No. The reason is that apparently, right, Ruth Kelly, she got egged. She decided to prosecute the person who egged her, went along to court, and on her way to court to prosecute, she got egged again.
He was MP for Hartlepool.
Yeah.
How did that work? He was MP for Hartlepool for 12 years, a Europhilic homosexual. It's like John Barrowman being president of Afghanistan. I like to think that he would have formed a sort of odd couple friendship with the leader of the local Labour Council. Peter, you teach me how to appreciate Don Giovanni. I'll show you how to fight a dog.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Frankie Hughes Stewart. Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features the royal family.
Oh, well, Mother, another day, another state occasion. Must be very tiring. Do you ever feel like hanging up the old boots and handing over to someone younger?
Don't be ridiculous, Charles. William isn't ready yet. Which way do we go?
Oh, just go to the right. A bit more to the right. That's it. To the right. Go to the right. Oh, bollocks, she's missed it. Plenty worth digging the hole. Can I get you some food, Mother? What would you like? Pufferfish? Strychnine? Deadly nightshade? They do some lovely sushi here. I think I've got some polonium in my pocket.
Yes. Look, do give it a rest, Charles. You've got to get it into your head. My reign so far has been that long, but it will be that long. That long, that that long? Why am I making myself here that long? This long, that long? Do you see? I don't know why the bloke was so upset. I just asked him if he was a cannibal.
Now we play a round called Mock the 9 o'clock news. This game involves Zoe, Stuart, Andy and Russell. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is where we test our performers' stand-up skills. We spin our news generator, it settles on a topic, and anyone can volunteer jokes about the chosen subject. The winners are the people I judge to produce the funniest stuff. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is finance. Can I have a volunteer to talk about that? Andy.
British Airways, their answer to the credit crunch, they've asked their employees, can you come into work for nothing for a month or take a month off unpaid? There's a tricky choice, isn't there? And who is going to want to fly British Airways? The last thing you want to hear when you get on the plane, this is your captain speaking. I'm not being paid today. Good luck. I am looking forward to seeing the credit crunch version of Monopoly. You know, instead of getting £1,500 from the bank, you have to lend the bank £1,500. And then everybody keeps on going round the board with nobody buying any property whatsoever because they always think it's going to be cheaper next time they go around.
Well done, Andy. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is Sarah Palin. Who wants to talk about that?
Sarah Palin. She was apparently an ex-beauty queen of a town in Alaska called Wasilla. And the press were very keen on this. They kept saying, you know, the beauty queen, Sarah Palin, the ex-beauty queen, the beauty queen, Sarah Palin. Let me tell you something, people. Wasilla is a very, very small town. Population 8, possibly 9,000 people at the best of times. To call it a one-horse town is to over-exaggerate the number of horses in that town by one. They timeshare a horse with another shithole down the road. Now, my brother used to live in Anchorage, Alaska, and I have been to Wasilla, and in the 5 minutes it took us to drive across Wasilla, I was voted beauty queen of Wasilla. It was no big deal, honestly. An otter and a caribou came second and third, respect.
Thank you very much, Joey. That leaves us with Stuart and Russell. Let's spin the wheel again. The next topic is men's health. Who wants to come in on that? Russell.
I went to the doctors recently with anal issues. I thought I had cancer, not I can't put my CDs in order. But the terrifying moments, right? So scary, because in your head, I'm going to die. And I went there and I took down my trousers. Obviously, we had a chat first, and it just... I'm not very well. You can see that, mate. This is a chip shop. You've never done it slower in your life. I was just peeling them down. I got them down to about there. Just heard his booming voice go, in the other room. You have a decision to make there. Do you pull them up or do you waddle with pride, right? You waddle, that's what you do. When you waddle, you can't help but giggle. The last thing you need is to be giggling before a man's going to pop his finger in your Richard, because now you're a wiggling target, right? I'll be honest, when the finger goes in, you're not laughing anymore! You're like a red arrow! And that's the moment they chat. How you doing? Fine. When you draw the curtains, we've gathered quite a crowd. Look at that, it's Atrium Steps and he's getting violated. I'm Russell!
OK, Stuart, let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is school.
You are looking at a very proud Canadian who's very proud of the education system in Canada. No, I was horrible in school. I failed math so many times I can't even count. I preferred French over chemistry because the chemistry teacher and I just didn't have any, rapport. One teacher said I'd be a better student if I spent less time flirting. I immediately jumped off his lap. One teacher used to always say I wasn't very observant, but you know what? That was his or her opinion. I was going to join the debating team, but someone talked me out of it. In high school, I was voted most likely to reminisce.
Okay, at the end of that round, the points go to Zoe and Stuart. Our next round is called Headliners. Here's a picture of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, but what does ACIP stand for?
Is it Abdul's Carpets, Irresistible Prices?
Is it another celebrity introduces perfume?
What would be... sorry, stench of desert?
Stench of atomic cloud.
Has he forgotten that he comes from an Islamic country and he's going, Happy Christmas, I'm pissed.
Is it a Columbo impersonator performs?
Am I torturing you? I'm sorry. Am I torturing you? I'm sorry. This is just going to take 5 fingers. I'm sorry.
Mrs. Colombo loved your bombing.
Mrs. Colombo actually voted for you. Is it aliens capture Iranian president and he's there going, phone home?
Oh, nice.
I'll give you a clue. The A doesn't stand for Ahmadinejad.
Alan Carr is priceless?
Nor does it stand for Alan. It stands for Ayatollah.
Ayatollah.
Aladdin.
Ayatollah confirms Iranian president.
Very good. Well done, Hugh. Thank you very much. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Ayatollah confirms Iranian president. This is a story that Ayatollah Khamenei has finally declared Mahmoud Ahmadinejad the winner of June's Iranian presidential elections, despite ongoing protests.
But what was incredible about it, so basically they were accused of stealing the election and then people protested, and then Ahmadinejad said, you know who's to blame, don't you? Britain. And we all went, eh? We're watching Wimbledon, mate. I've got no idea. We're watching a hairy Scottish man do very well.
Xavier was his opponent, wasn't he? And after the election, he had his supporters come out and marched, and then Ahmadinejad's supporters came out and did a counter-march, and then there was another march, and it was basically, if only we had some way of telling who had the most supporters, like maybe some sort of election or something. Don't we need to get perspective here? OK, they arrest protesters. We arrested protesters after G20.
Yep.
They killed a protester. We killed a guy who wasn't even protesting. They've got Sharia law that isn't very nice to women. We've got Jude law.
How did you come to the attention of a lot of people over here?
Twitter.
They use Twitter.
We use Twitter and Facebook.
It was a beautiful story about that when Ahmadinejad...
It's not a name that you can't pronounce, but it's a name that you have to think about just before you pronounce.
Yes.
He probably thinks that everybody's just incredibly dramatic. Hello, President Ahmadinejad. Why is everybody so arch in Iran? I don't know, President Ahmadinejad.
What was amazing about the Twitter story was that because they're so scared of protesting, that the way they were going to protest, when Ahmadinejad was going to be on TV, they were going to put on every household appliance so that they could try and cause a blackout to get him off telly. Isn't that beautiful? He's on, put on the kettle, plug in the Hoover.
You're there sat there with your Tetleys going, I'm part of a revolution.
Yeah.
All Twitter was all obviously on one side until Ahmadinejad himself went on Twitter and he tweeted, hey everybody, some crazy stories about the election. Basavi got pwned. Mega lols. And all the bad. Like, this is the endorsement. For God, I'm sorry. This is a sense of scale. This is a country that aspires towards nuclear weaponry. This is their presidential endorsement. That's a raffle at a school hall, right?
I actually played that club, and it's very distracting with those 3 guys behind it.
He also doesn't seem to have any feet. Where have his feet gone?
In other news, what is this?
That's a chart.
It's a chart, yes. A chart of what?
This is a new point system that immigrants must adhere to if they want to live in this country.
Yes, you get bonus points if you've got English, and you lose points if you fail to integrate, which seems harsh in the initial interview. You don't turn up dressed as a pearly queen. Oi! Good integrating, well done.
It's basically racist, isn't it? What, people are going to have to learn English to get a British passport. No, I'm afraid it's my family and I will be murdered if we go home. Not my family and me. Back to the Sudan with you.
They want them to learn British history, but essentially British history is us invading their country, enslaving their people, and then nicking their natural resources. Always good to remind them of that before we welcome them into the country.
But nobody says this, right? If you're seeking asylum in this country, you probably need asylum. Right? If you come from a sunny country and you want to move to Birmingham, someone in your homeland is trying to murder you. If you're rocking up to Preston looking for a better life, things have gone very badly wrong where you come from. Let those people in. Don't say to those people, hey, you're a heart surgeon in your homeland, but you read very badly from Beowulf. We'll have to let you go.
But it's really unfair, though, isn't it? Because it always comes down, they have to know things about Winston Churchill. You ask anyone in this country, give us a famous quote from Churchill, and I guarantee they'll go, oh, yes.
Has any, you know, because this is to the points to get yourself into the country. Currently, there is a Life in the UK test, which features questions like this. After the Second World War, where did British textile and engineering firms send agents to find workers? Now, judging by the reaction both the audience here and 6 blank faces here, and even more weirdly, there's another question from the life skills test. Where does Santa Claus come from? Now, there's debate in this country about that particular issue, let alone there is no hard and fast answer to that one, but that is among them. Why don't you just, if you really want people to mix in, just give them a simple finish the sentence question with questions like, the referee's a what? And if they can finish that, like the Frosty's there, what?
Why don't we just go the whole hog, admit we're racist, and at immigration control have a Dulux wall chart, and when people rock up, we go burnt umber, I'm afraid not. Autumn sunset, in you come, just.
By the way, this announcement of this new clampdown on immigration, what made it slightly awkward?
It was a fantastic story because there was an illegal immigrant found hiding underneath a bus that was full of people who work for immigration.
Yes, it was.
Isn't that a brilliant story?
It was a bus carrying staff of the UK Border Agency, and an illegal immigrant clambered underneath it and hid beside the fuel tank.
The last place they'll look.
It is. It clearly was the last place.
Just for cheekiness, he should be allowed in because that is brilliant. That is like a mouse sneaking into the house by holding onto the cat's nipples, isn't it?
Well, apparently when they got to Folkestone, he just legged it. I'd have loved to have been on that bus and seen those guys go, well, I think that went quite well, don't you? I think it went quite... Oh, dear, who's that chap? I don't want to sound racist, but there's no way that any of us are going to catch him over 5,000 metres.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Frankie, Hugh and Stuart. Now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. I caught ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely lines from a thriller.
Michael, Peter, David, Vladimir, I think we may have a spy in the organisation.
Give me the pentagon, then the triangle, and then the square.
Pussy galore, Bond here. I've been told by my doctor that I need to contact all previous partners.
The owner of this motel dresses up as his mother and stabs people. But the guidebook says it's still better than the Ibis.
I want you to go to Warsaw, meet a man called Borislav. You'll then ask him why he didn't fix my plumbing before he left the home.
Miss Scarlett looked at him through the window. He had one massive testicle like a space hopper. That was why they called him Professor Plum.
This is no ordinary pen, Bond. Turn it upside down, the woman's clothes drop off and you can see it tense.
Red or green, which do I cut? Come on, they're only peppers. How long is this salad going to take?
We need to find the third man. There's no way Amanda Holden will shag just 2 of us.
Cheers!
Simon.
The Orient Express has been cancelled. However, there was a murder on the temporary Orient replacement bus.
I have amnesia. The tattoos on my body will tell me what happened. Dara was here.
I'd been a serial killer for 4 years, but they'd never given me a nickname. Then, you bite one guy in the ass, and suddenly you're the butt muncher.
Ah, the butt muncher's got me! The butt muncher's got me!
OK, the next topic is bad things to say at a wedding. I do.
Don't worry, the vows are simple. Just repeat after me. Eeny, meeny, macaracka, rare, ride, dominacka, chicka-bocka, lollipop, rom, pom, push.
And we will now sing hymn number 225. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
When John went down on one knee, I wish I'd known that he was having a stroke.
I'd like to thank Elsie for the flowers. It was her funeral I nicked them from.
So your best man's in an absolute state. That's my mum.
Now, it's my job to tell some amusing stories about Gavin. So, first of all, for a kick-off, he's a hermaphrodite.
My bride always wears white. Isn't that right, Dolly? Bah!
Now, Carol's family have always had their doubts about me. So, first of all, let me explain why I'm naked.
This is my first gay wedding, so you must be the pretty one.
To my new son-in-law, I would say this. You have released me. This monster is yours now.
I would like to apologise for the state of my clothes and the smell of sick only I spent last night in a skip. Anyway, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
People have said to me, why have you stopped being a bachelor after so long? And I say, well, look at her. She's wealthy and she's dying.
It wouldn't be a traditional Norfolk wedding without a speech from the father of the bride and groom.
The end of that round. The points go to Frankie, Hugh and Stuart. That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Frankie Boyd, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. Commiserations to Andy Parton, Zoe Lyons and Russell Howard. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
The weird acts, the deluded wannabes and the judges you just love to hate. Why did we go and put stars in their eyes? It's the funny side of talent shows on BBC Two next.